Shabbat Shalom. Okay, Aaron. Bar mitzvah boy. Aaron Peskin. Bar mitzvah boy. I bet you didn't know there's me a quiz. But you can ask for help from the audience. Phone a friend. Old reference. You don't get it. So you're bar mitzvah now, yeah? What does bar mean? You know? No? Bar? Son. There you go, Baron. Bar means son. We just say ben these days, but bar is also a more original way of saying that. So son. He's somebody's son. That's good. Mitzvah. Mitzvah. What's a mitzvah? Oh, I'm hearing a mixture of answers. It's a little tricky, mitzvah, the mitzvah part. A lot of people like to translate the word mitzvah as a good deed, like helping an elderly person cross the street, or picking up trash. And those are indeed very good things to do. Those are good deeds. They're not really mitzvot, though. Mitzvah is literally a commandment. It comes from the same Hebrew word as tzivah or tzivui, meaning command. Mitzvot are not optional things to do. It's stuff that you gotta do. Yeah, you have to do. You get to do as a Jew. And we've got lots of stuff. It really runs the gamut from, lighting Shabbat candles is a mitzvah. Giving tzedakah is a mitzvah. Not murdering people is a mitzvah. And that one's really hard sometimes, we all know. There are, we like to say, 613 mitzvot. And when you become a bat or bar mitzvah, you are now responsible for them, because that's what every other Jewish adult has to do. It's heavy stuff. It's a lot to learn. All these expectations of you as a Jew. It might panic you. Don't fret, Aaron. Don't worry. He's not worried. Wiser men than us have sat down and gone through the entire Torah, outlining every single mitzvah to be found in it. The Rambam, the brilliant medieval rabbi, he did the hard work of reading through the whole Torah, picking out every mitzvah, parsha by parsha, portion by portion. So, last quiz question. How many mitzvot are found in this parsha, Vayelach? Guesses? Well, I hear numbers. I'll help you out. Big old goose egg. Literally 0. None. None mitzvahs. Horrible language. According to our most brilliant rabbinic minds of the past 1,000 years, there are no mitzvot to be learned from Parshat Vayelach, this portion of the Torah. It's kind of a bummer. So it's what, just like a waste of time to read the thing? What exactly is happening in this Parsha that apparently nothing is going on in it? Because, with all due respect to the Rambam, whom I love, my rabbinic dissertation was the Rambam, Maimonides. I love him, he knows it. I think he missed some stuff. In this Torah portion of Vayelach, there's a lot going on. It starts with the teenager Joseph. He is, at this point, the baby of the family. His father and his biomom he is their favorite child, his dad and his biomom. His dad, by the way, has 11 other children with 3 other women. Openly favors this particular one, Joseph. Makes him special clothes, the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat or whatever. His brothers, of course, hate his guts. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him, the Torah says. Which is fair. And Joseph, for his part, doesn't help matters very much. He has some dreams, some very prophetic dreams, he says, when they're binding sheaves of wheat. They're all sheaves of wheat, and their sheaves come to his sheaf and bow down. Thanks for sharing, Joseph. Now they hate him even more. Another dream where there's a night sky, and there's 11 stars, he says, and a sun and a moon, and they all bow down to him. Even his father says, Havo navo ani, shall I and your mother and brothers bow down to you? His brothers openly despise him at this point. Shocker of the century, as many of us know, the brothers plot to murder Joseph. And I mean, can you blame them? But as we know, they don't actually do it. They plan to do it. They even plan how they're going to cover up their horrible murder. But while they're plotting and they're planning, Reuben, who has been silent to this point, pipes up. Finally, Loni Kanu Nefesh, he says, let's not take a life. So they don't. They throw him into a pit, sell him. And then we have this weird interlude about their other brother, Judah. Judah essentially makes a pledge to a woman named Tamar. He doesn't renege on that per se, but he does become clear he has no intention of doing what he said that he would do. He doesn't technically do anything wrong, but he's not doing anything right either. Later on, Tamar gets some dirt on Judah. She's been pretty grievously wronged by him. She has every reason to be mad, to get revenge, but she doesn't. Even when she's facing death, she does not let it be known what she knows about him. It ends well. The point is, apparently, through all of the things that happen in Parshat Vayelech, in this portion of the Torah, there's not a single mitzvah. Nothing to glean from this whole story. I think we get a lot out of this parsha. 1, Joseph, clear favorite child of his father. Who's his father? Jacob. Jacob, the guy whose parents played favorites with him and his brother. And if you think about it, his father, Isaac, had the same issue with his father, Abraham, who had 2 sons by 2 women. Joseph isn't the first person in this family who's had these issues. He's just the most recent one. So maybe there's no mitzvah here per se, but I think we can learn a lot about generational trauma. How if we don't deal with these issues, if we don't break these cycles of trauma, we don't deal with them, they don't go away. They just get passed down for our descendants to deal with. It's not a mitzvah to deal with it, but it's good to know. Joseph, who knows he's the clear favorite, just can't stop rubbing his brother's faces in it, right? He has those dreams. Are they true? Yeah, they're true dreams. He has a gift of prophecy. And he's right. One day he'll become vice pharaoh and everyone will bow down to him. The issue here is not that he's wrong. He is accurate. But I think it's obvious to everyone who is not Joseph that there's a time and a place, man. Did he need to tell his brothers, who he knew hated him, you're going to bow down to me one day? Was that really necessary, Joseph? It's not a mitzvah per se, but I think we can learn from here that not everything we think needs to be said out loud. There is a value to having a filter. And I'm not saying to lie, that's breaking a commandment, but that we need to know how our words are going to be received. And sometimes the wisest thing to say is nothing. It's not a mitzvah, but it's a good thing to know. In the parsha, the brothers want to kill Joseph, right? They're plotting the murder, how to do it, how to cover it up. It's gotten that far. When finally, what happens? Reuben speaks up. He says, we can't take a life. And that's all it took to save Joseph's life. If Reuben hadn't done that, the story would stop there. The brothers' murderous revenge would be complete. Now, it's not a mitzvah per se, but I think we can learn something from here. It's never too late. It's never too late to do the right thing. Not a mitzvah, but a good reminder. And finally, we have that story, Judah and Tamar. She's got some good dirt on him. I'm not going to say it here because we've got to keep it PG. But what she knows would ruin him. And what's more, as the kids say, he's done her dirty. He's treated her badly. It would be understandable for her to think, forget this guy, he deserves whatever happens to him. And maybe she did feel that way, but she didn't act on it. She was willing to take his secret to her grave, even if it sent her there early. That's not a mitzvah per se, but I think we can learn something here, that revenge is never the answer. And even when we are wronged, doing something bad back won't fix anything. And it's not a mitzvah not to do something bad just because something bad happened to you, but it's a good lesson. So no, there are no mitzvot in the whole parsha of Vayelech. That's true, but it is full of great lessons and amazing values. Fix your generational trauma. There's a time and a place for everything. It's never too late to do the right thing. Being bad is never a solution to being treated badly. But if you were evaluating this portion of the Torah purely on what are the mitzvot, on other people's rubrics for what's important, you would come up empty. You'd say, there's nothing there. But you know, you didn't before, you definitely know now. It is chock full, this parsha. It's chock full of great stuff. And if you only used other people's rubrics for what is valuable and important, you would miss these deep, important truths contained within this part, these stories in our Torah, which I think is a lesson in and of itself, a meta lesson, if you will. We don't always know where we are going to find truth, where we'll find value, where we are going to find meaning. And if we only look from one perspective, we could miss it coming from here or here or here. So we have to take the time to make the effort to look at our text and our tradition, yes, but also at our lives. Try and see our own lives from multiple perspectives. Think, what's another way to look at this? Maybe I'm missing something important here, something really valuable, really important. Think of the richness it will bring our lives, our text, our tradition, if only we widen our perspective. Shabbat shalom.